Hello there, alright guys. This is the Catalyst Cameron for short, whatever you want to call me. Now, today I have just been doing a little spring cleaning, clearing out all the old for the new, and I was looking at, what kind of things do I have. Keep in mind, we've got the new Pokemon game coming out soon. I went to look back and see what was in my garage. So quite to my surprise, we found these things, alright? So, first things first, I just thought I would tell you about these old finds I have, these old games I found, the console, a little bit of the memories I have, because I don't think it takes much sense to just allow it to rot and get dusty sitting in my cupboard or under the stairs. I think when it comes to games, their best value is in reselling them, that someone else should enjoy them. I don't want to hoard these games away and allow them to rot and no one enjoy them. I'd rather they were sold to a store that could facilitate for someone else to buy them, and then they, to have fun playing the games. So, first things first. This is probably one of my most prized possessions in here. Don't know if you can see that. The box on the outside here. It does say this is a PlayStation 2 Slim, but actually, if we just look inside here, I'll just take it out in a moment. This is, in fact, shaking around a bit. There. Right, a PlayStation 2 original. Yeah, that's how long I've been playing with the Sony fan. Actually, the PlayStation 1 as well. But yeah, that's PlayStation 2 original. I guess I must have bought that back in 2003. I don't know. Whenever the PlayStation 2 came out, that's when I bought that PlayStation 2 original. And yeah, I actually plugged it into the power socket just now to check, and it does still run. It is still fully operational, and it's been God knows how many years. That will tell you an awful lot about the workmanship from back in the day. Better games, better lifespan of consoles. Far better times. I just thought I'd swing over some of the games that have built up the history of who I am as a person. Right, so the first game I actually played is Dead or Alive 2, and I can't actually find that, but this is the second game I played on PlayStation 2, Dynasty Warriors 2. I remember countless hours spent killing that, and that probably started my journey into Chinese history. I honestly don't think I would have learned as much as I have, including the language, the culture, met the people, been so open, understanding, if I hadn't played Dynasty Warriors 2. That's where it all began. There's another game I love to play. This is Kessen 2, I think that's how you say it. That's, again, about the romance of the Three Kingdoms era. Same as Dynasty Warriors, but less of a focus on individual battling and more on armies. I don't think they ever sold Kessen 3 in this country. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now we're going to just flip over to some of my other little treasures here. Now, I can't sell any of my Pokemon game originals, more because they don't have any value. I'm taking these all down to a computer exchange store, rather than selling it on eBay or going through the palaver of eBay or Amazon. I'm not really one of those guys. I prefer to sell things in person, so forth. So what I've got here is Pokemon Soul Silver. It's got the still got the the accessory, the Poke Walker in there, as well as the game. That retails. I actually bought both for £35 donkeys years ago, 2010 or something. I don't know, 2011. Probably that's when that came out, I think. But that's worth £56 now. So Pokemon Go has been a good thing. I've got Pokemon Black here as well to sell. I think I'll hang on to Omega Ruby until the newest Pokemon game's released. I've also got Diamond, as well as Pearl, Pokemon Y, Pokemon Ranger, which had a ranger called Cameron, so I was quite happy about that. Here's some of the other PlayStation 2 games I have, so you can just get an idea. So, I don't know if you could see this, but we've got He-Man, an alright game, not really worth it. Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Star Wars. I'm just going to flip this around. Alright, so we're looking at it together. Okay, so, yeah, top of there we've got Scarface. This is Scarface. Damn. I'll just come back over here, this is easier. So, Scarface, Drug Baron. It's kind of the idea of, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Scarface, it's a great movie by Al Pacino, but basically the game assumes you survive the famous scene at the end of the movie, and it's you rebuilding your legacy and getting revenge. So it's an alright movie. The first Sims game on PlayStation 2, honestly I never really got into The Sims. It wasn't really one of those things that appealed to me, the idea of playing people in real life rather than just living. An Ultimate Cheats, no reason to look at that, I don't really use that often. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's an old one. I think this was not well liked, it wasn't well received back in the day, I can't be sure. The first Godfather game, that was a damn good game, I'll tell you that now. Loved the Godfather game. I remember it taught me a lot about persuasion techniques. Oh, I've got that out already, Shadow the Hedgehog. Medal of Honor, Rising Sun. My first game I actually played was the Medal of Honor Front Lines, in terms of, war games, and then obviously after a while it was Call of Duty stuff. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. Very good Star Wars game in my opinion. You know, like the lightsaber duels. We can keep in mind, a lot of people complain about modern games, but you know, in PlayStation 2 and all this not living up to the hype. Dynasty Warriors 3 there. That's yeah. But you know, they've not played the old stuff. They don't feel the nostalgia like we do. I mean, some of these the graphics ain't as good, the story ain't good, blah 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 blah. Blah. Battle for Middle Earth 2. I actually have that on 360 as well as PC because I basically put it on PC, realised I couldn't play it and graphics crap, and got it on 360. Mario Smash Football. I think that game with the GameCube. I don't actually know why I own that. I literally only bought a GameCube so I could play Pokemon Colosseum, and then Pokemon Next Game of Darkness, and Pokemon Battle Revolution, which I do plan to sell because Battle Revolution was an awful game. It's like the appeal of Colosseum was that you could go out and do exploring. The appeal of XD Yellow Darkness was exactly the same, except on a slightly more limited scale. I think they just ran out of ideas by the time Revolution came out because it had no story really at all. Narnia, Chronicles, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Now, I think we all remember the game. I was actually brought up on the book before the movies came out, so that's why I was interested in the game. It was an okay game. It was a bit on the rails. Peter Jackson's King Kong. God, was that. That was an okay game to play. There was a couple of dangerous points, I think, for me, a couple of hard missions. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, I want to point out, by the way, that in my lineup, I don't have stuff like Vice City and that, more because I have no idea where the PlayStation 2 games have gone. I think I gave them to my brother because they were like my favourites, so I didn't really want to lose them. So this is just my other favourites I hung on to. Dynasty Wars Extreme Legends. That was also Dynasty Wars 3. The idea of Extreme Legends, I don't know if anyone's ever played Dynasty Wars games. You have Dynasty Warriors, where you play all the main characters, the historical people, the good guys, so to speak. The Wei, the heroes of Wei, or Wu, or Shu. But you don't often get to play the other factions. Extreme Legends is the idea that you get to play the other factions, and it sort of takes an alternative spin on traditional history. Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, the second movie from the original trilogy. Oh, Lego Star Wars 2 original trilogy. Alright. Not much saying there. It's a Lego game. Lego games are very fun. We've got Lego Star Wars, the video game that covers the prequels. I like the prequel movies. A lot of people didn't. I liked The Phantom Menace. A lot of people didn't. I thought Jar Jar Binks was an okay character. A lot of people thought it was a racist stereotype. So, you know, we all have different opinions. Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End. And finally, of course, I mentioned it before, Masters of the Universe, He-Man. And then I've got like, yeah, that's basically all the games. So I bought all this stuff, you know, you've got a little idea of what kind of game I was as a PlayStation 2 player. You haven't seen all the games I have, you haven't seen all the Xbox 360 games I had, sold them all earlier. Oh, I've just got it sitting here, Little Big Planet 2. But basically, you know, these are some of the games that help shape who I am as a person. You know, the moral dilemmas you face, the moral imperatives, the idea of stuff like The Godfather, where there's no real good guys. It's how you play the game that's perceived as good or bad. That you can take over all the territory, and you know, and in no time you can be the don of the whole area. Your games like Lego Star Wars, where it was a good bit of fun, you could play with your friends on it. No one really got hurt. It wasn't really that serious. You know, construct things, and it brought you back to the ideas of when you had stuff like Connect. I don't know if many people use this stuff nowadays, but you know, my day it was a big thing to play with Connect, play with Lego, to play with little toy figurines, not to play computer games so much. But I was brought up in a household where you played with little toy figures and all the rest of it, and you made your own little worlds. So I can remember times when I was sitting down and in my room and I had loads of these little toy soldiers and toy knights and all that, and I built castles out of Lego, put the people in the castles, and would come up with my own little storylines, you know, that are just as good as a lot of the game storylines, better than some I'd say, and I was about 6 then, but burn. Alright, so then the other stuff we got is, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, I never actually had any real knowledge of Sonic before I played Shadow the Hedgehog. I knew it was around, I knew it was a big Sega thing, I wasn't really a Sega player. I didn't really have the expensive Nickelodeon channels to watch Sonic on. So Shadow the Hedgehog was my kind of way in with that, and then I watched some Sonic stuff and got an idea for the Emerald. So, you know, but playing some older stuff, that's how that came. And obviously the Mario games, I never actually had a Super Mario game until 2012, so, you know, that's how long it took for me to reach that franchise. So in many ways that GameCube game there was my first open to Super Mario. Obviously Pokemon has been going right through my legacy of my time. I think I first started playing that when Pokemon Yellow came out. So that came out 1997. I was about 5 or 6 then. So I did play Pokemon Yellow when Yellow was first released, or shortly after it was first released in my area. I played it, I met some of my friends, and I actually still play Pokemon with those friends. It's kind of kept us all together when, you know, life has made us drift apart. You know, a lot of the old Catalyst gamers you have here are Pokemon fans who were brought together through the power of Pokemon and being at the same secondary school. So even now, you know, it still brings us together. We've got to come together, I think, to play the new Pokemon game. A lot of us don't even live in the same areas anymore. We're still coming back. So yeah, the games really do shape your lives. I think they help you make friends. They help you connect with others. I mean, over here at the campus, you know, I'm on the PlayStation 3 and I'm playing stuff like Call of Duty, and it's helped me connect with my neighbours. So what I would say to anyone who thinks, like playing video games is a bad thing, you know, take a pinch of salt. Know that, you know, everything has its good and bad sides. That there is a wide social community, and it's the ability to not let games rule your life. You know, that's the real problem, I think, in society, allowing things to get too much of a foothold in your life that you forget what's important. So computer games, you want to play them, but you want them to facilitate spending time with others rather than to detract from it. The same will go for like drinking coffee or going to work. You don't want to overwork yourself thinking you're making your children or whatever have a better life if it means you're not in it. Because then they won't have a better life. They'll suffer for it and they won't grow up to be healthy, strong, and, you know, all the rest of it. So in many ways, many respects, you've now got a better idea of who I am as a person. I'm going to take these games down to be sold at the computer exchange store, knowing that I fulfilled my moral compass of telling you guys about them. And I really love games. I love the moral side. I love the graphics. I love everything about them. I love the time and the hour and the story and the dedication people put into them. So know they're appreciated and know it does have an impact on how people grow up as people, really. I think that's all I wanted to say, all I wanted to show. You know, all this hopefully will be sold and enough money for me to get a phone that I can use to play Pokemon Go on. So that's the main imperative here, moving on to the next stage. I'll say to people, don't hang on to the games, hang on to the memories. You know, that's what's important. Let someone else make new memories with what gave you such a good time. Alright, anyway, see you later, guys. Peace out.